Good afternoon, boys and girls, and welcome to the southern wing of the Stinkbug Works. I had hoped to have a running video for you today, but as I was leaving the gated compound here and driving the few hundred yards to the get-on ramp for the Interstate 5 southbound, I listened to the radio, and the radio said the Interstate 5 southbound, my route to the pond, was a parking lot. And so rather than take the get-on ramp, I went over the freeway, and lo and behold, it was a parking lot. So I turned around, came back home, said I will leave early in the morning tomorrow, and I'll try to leave early before rush hour traffic, get to the pond real early while it's still like glass, and run the boat. So I thought I'd show you a couple of things here on the new build we're going to do for the H&M Micro Shovel Nose. These are chainsaw files. This package of 2 of them cost me $7.20. That's a cheap tool. That's a $3 and change tool here. And it just so happens that 5/32 of an inch is 4 millimeters. There you go. So what I did is I went into Handy Dandy AutoCAD and drew the inside of the boat. And then I drew this shaft out to the end of the propeller, which is right there. And drew in this shaft right to the point where it meets the motor. Figured a height from the bottom of the boat right here to the center line of the motor. And there, boys and girls, is how it's going to go. It's going to go just like that. So that gets me my required prop ride height to be even with this. And since this isn't rocket science, a little bit off one way or another isn't really going to matter. You can make up differences with power, CG, propeller choice. So you have some options. But this is what I'm going to recommend. I printed it out in increments that would be easy for most people to use a scale on. A ruler is a guy in charge of a country. This is a scale. Anyway, my plan, now that I've marked 2 5/8 the center of my through hole, I'm going to go ahead and drill that, then put this file in and just start working it over to an angle. And by carefully watching it, I can see if I'm cutting this way far enough, if I'm cutting this way far enough. So because the thing's the same diameter all the way across, it's going to be real easy to control this slot. At least I have the feeling it's going to be really easy to control that slot as you cut it. So that will be our project for working on later on today. The rudder. Now these are the common, you get them everywhere, or dime a dozen rudder. Some of them are better than others though. This particular one I notice has virtually no slop, and I've seen others with plenty of slop. So be careful when you choose them. Another thing I do on these things is I replace all the grub screws with stainless steel, just because. And when you get a easy connect, quick connect, oh, you're gonna love what I'm gonna do with the rudder on this. The rudder is gonna be trick. The rudder is gonna be trick and easy. And if you remember from the Depron boat, I ran the control through this hole. That's my plan, except I'm going to use a hollow bolt. I'm going to use a hollow bolt and run my stainless steel push rod through the hollow bolt into here. What do you guys think of that? Huh? And then the hole in the hollow bolt is going to be, the same exact size as that stainless steel push rod. So it should just be a nice slip fit, a little bit of grease on it, and away you go. So I'm going to use a hollow bolt. That's probably enough for now. Until next time, boys and girls, jet out. Boys and girls, welcome back to the Stinkbug Works. As I had hoped, the chainsaw files worked as good, if not better, than expected. I did use the file and a drill. I tried by hand, and it was just a little bit too much. And in the drill, I got it going really well. So I'm going to take this apart, but what I've done here is assemble it with some tape and double-checked measurements, height of prop and so forth, and double-checked everything. And I'm pretty sure I can epoxy this into place now. And here's what I've done. The through hull came out just surprisingly well. It's perfect. It's a nice snug fit for this shaft, and the motor winds right up on the mark where everything contacts everything. And I do have just a little bit of flexibility to get the angle of dangle precise. So I have a little tiny bit. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take 3/4 ounce fiberglass cloth, and I'm going to take one strip and I'm going to put it under the shaft, and then with my paintbrush bring it back here. So it's going to eventually wrap around the shaft in here and kind of fill up this space here. Then I'm going to come in with another piece of 3/4 ounce glass and cover over that, and that will seal the whole thing up. Now, here's what I'm thinking too. All the prop loads go right through this area here. So I just might put a triangle of carbon fiber just in this little corner. You want to keep it light, but just a triangle, because all the loads on the prop are going to go right through right there. So if I made a little triangle that came out here onto that 3/4 ounce glass that's sealing this up, so this would just be a little overlay, and it would kind of fill up that area, and it would make that part of the bottom of the hull really stiff, which is what you want, because then everything else will be all tied in and rock solid. So there's my plan. There's my progress for thus far. I'll let you guys stop and think about it, and think about the hollow bolt. I'm going to use a hollow bolt on my rudder, on my rudder. So right through here will be a hollow bolt, and a wire will go through here and pick up in here. And then the servo. I'll tell you what I'm thinking of doing. I'm thinking of just gluing it down to the floor. Just take some hot glue and glue that sucker down. Or maybe contact cement. Contact cement might be pretty good. I have to look at it. It might be too flexible. I may have room to raise it up and do one of those things where you put some zip ties to hold it down. We'll have to see. But in order to keep things simple, glue it down. Just glue it down, be done with it. Boom, it's glued. Okay, boys and girls, jet out.